have to be strong, try to stop him in that way. So
Hmm.
we'll see. Hopefully he can keep on that roll, keep going, and keep winning.
He looks like he's on rails. Like the bike is steady underneath him. He doesn't look like he's getting close. He looks like it just looks beautiful. He really looks like
Yep.
he's in control.
And
It's
a
really
good ride
amazing.
from Alonso Lopez. I think he
Yes.
definitely put in a good result there. But also for Jake Dixon, not throwing it in the
Oh,
gravel, as some of the guys would say. But yeah, he
throw.
did a great job.
He did. He did. He did. He definitely did. That's what they're talking about. I mean, I know a lot of my friends, some of my friends, military guys are very nationalistic as it relates to, hey, there's no American rider in MotoGP. I would love if there's an American rider in MotoGP, but I'm gonna watch anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Whether there's an American rider or not. But the British, apparently it affected Silverstone, and a lot of the conversation that you probably by the way, I got musical notes here because I do have a
there you
musician
go.
as a co-host. Kayla plays. How many instruments you playing, Kayla?
I could play guitar, saxophone, a little bit of ukulele, a little bit of keyboard, and that's about it.
And
I
your
think.
favorites, if you were
Yeah,
to rank them like a race, who would be leading the race?
guitar. Yeah,
Okay,
I like the guitar best. I like playing saxophone too, but I need to get my saxophone fixed. So
that
haven't had that thing
is
serviced in a while.
that. Hey, if you're a musical dealer out there, Kayla needs her saxophone fixed. If you're anywhere in the Gettysburg area, fix it up. That's so awesome, man. That is just a wonderful thing that you're gonna have when you're 60 years old and you're still able to play music, and people are gonna be like, "Man, I wish you would took music in high school, because
Yeah,
Kayla's getting busy up there." So anyway, um, all right. So I went over Fernandez. Oh, how the hell does Aaron Canet keep getting up front? And this, I mean, what's going on
every
with the?
single time.
Yeah.
Well, with also speaking of Kinet and
Mhm.
Agura, they had lots of passes going on the entire race. I think some of them, honestly, for me, I would say were stupid because they're letting these guys go away in front of them by just keep passing and passing the entire race. It's not helping them. So maybe if they just worked together a little bit more, they wouldn't have let some of those guys get as far as they did. Kinet definitely had pace. So did Agura. So, but
So
it
explain
happens.
that. Explain. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're
Explain
fine.
that to the layperson like me. What are we looking to do? What are you seeing that they should do different? Because I didn't see this. So what do
Yeah,
they need to do?
so I think for Kinet and Agura, they've traded passes a lot the entire
Hmm.
race. Uh, by passing some of the ways that they were passing each other, it creates these small gaps. Even if it's like 2 tenths, 3 tenths, that's a
Hmm.
lot still. So
Yes.
if these guys are getting on you 2 or 3 tenths a lap, it's going to create this gap. So I think if they just worked together a little bit more, followed one another, and were able to go up the field together, it would have been a lot easier for them to be in those podium contentions. But happens in racing. I've had to deal with it. Not, sometimes as the rider, you get very frustrated, and it happens. So hopefully, in the next few races, if they get into that situation again, they try to work together a little bit more.
Okay, so I got it. So essentially, what you're saying is they're fighting back here. They should be drafting one another and just hanging together and trying to
Yep.
move up, and then fighting the guys that are in front of them instead of fighting one another and letting them run
Yep.
away. Okay, got it.
Exactly.
Very interesting. Again, people, why we have Kayla, because I don't know these things. I don't know. To us is transparent. That's why we have her. Um, Moto 3. Okay. I was just telling Kayla off air, one of the podcasts I listen to and I love Crash, MotoGP podcast. I love The Race. MotoGP podcast is amazing. And I love one called Paddock Pass. And Crash is hosted by Keith Ewan. Keith Ewan was a BSB rider and a MotoGP rider. He's very British. He's like all those guys, not afraid to say whatever he feels, and is an old school style racer. So I know he's somebody Kayla would like. He said that Moto3 race may have been one of the best races he's ever seen, with a pack of, we're talking about like 21 riders just to watch it visually. I mean, that was nuts. So.
We see them come across the line, and every single one just ticking down. It's like pretty crazy and they're going like 6 wide in some of these corners. I mean, Silverstone is a very wide track, but some of the corners they were going 6 wide into shouldn't be going, shouldn't be able to go 6 wide into. So, it was a really good race for Munoz to stay in it until those last few laps when he eventually took the front. Mm-hmm. It was really cool to see him even have to go through the long lap penalty, start from what's really far back. But
he ran through the field, did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
So,
okay. No, I didn't.
That was really good. Fangio coming out on top was really nice to see again.
What a veteran
and the
move.
the gas boys both going down, not helping their championship hopes, but at least they have a good buffer to the next guy. Then for Anku to be back on the podium is good. Good clean race, so can't bash on him too much this time. He did good.
No, you're right. I'm trying to find it right now because I sent it earlier. Where's the other one? Here it is. Okay. Yeah. In the championship, it's Sergio, Guevara, Foggia, and one of the cooler names, I think, Kayla, Jaume Masia.
Yeah.
And then Anshu is 5th. Yeah.
Yeah, Masia did a good job today, or not today. Not today. That was last weekend. Same thing. Same day. Same thing.
Yeah. Definitely,
I guess it still counts.
Yeah, no, but he did very well. I think he finished 2nd. Yeah.
Yep. So it's good. I think that it's nice to see that championship kind of get blown open a little bit. So hopefully another good fight to the end. But I think this was a good race for Guevara to capitalize on and make good passes, make good choices, stay smart. And I mean, honestly, the crash wasn't his fault, but it would have been a really good race for him.
Someone ran into him, right? And
I think Toba got took the front. He was about to hit someone and took the front, and then took out Guevara. But would have been a really good race for Guevara to at least get some points in, because he would have taken over the points lead. But it happens. So
it's so funny. These are your colleagues, man. These are all. Yeah. These are your colleagues from overseas, man. It's so cool. So wild, man.
All good.
All right. So I have a hot take section up for this. After this Bobier crashed out, Joe Roberts was back in like 8th or 9th. I can't remember where he finished. He got pushed back quite a bit. But this is my hot take for this section of the show, Kayla. My hot take is I think Cameron should look toward World Superbike. I think World Superbike is perfectly set up for Cameron to do what he does. He's going to get on a 1,000cc motorcycle with lots of electronics on it. He's going to be battling with a small group of guys. And I think that's a lot better for him.
I think so too. But I also think that now that Cameron's been on that bike for about 2 years now, it's going to be a hard transition. So for him, I think eventually when he either gets the chance to move up to MotoGP or, gets out of the Moto2 class, that's going to definitely be an option for him. But obviously he'd have to be on that bike as soon as possible to get back acclimated to the 1,000.
Yeah, I mean, definitely problematic, but I mean, if I'm looking at the age of the guys, first of all. So I'm looking at older guys that are his contemporaries, if you will.
Yep.
Top Rack, obviously Johnny, Bautista. There's several riders. There's I can't remember the guy who got kicked back from MotoGP, the Italian guy who has a kind of a cool name. I can't think of his name right off the top of my head.
Which one?
Where?
Where is he racing?
He's in World Superbike. He's the guy that got kicked
Baz?
back. No, not Boz, but there's another guy. I mean, we know,
Boz is the one you're talking about.
Is it Lancur, or I'm trying to think of his
Rinaldi?
No, Rinaldi's another one though. Well, he's riding the God Almighty. Is he the one that riding
Locatelli?
Yeah, maybe
Is
it's
that
maybe
about?
it's Locatelli.
Because Locatelli's on the Yamaha.
Yeah, no, I'll have to pull up their
Okay. Yeah, because
standings.
Locatelli was in Moto 2 with Altal Trans.
There's another guy. Let me think. Let me look at World WSBK standings. There we go, and that'll give it to me. Laka Ono, I think that's his name, right? Yeah.
Lequona?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that guy.
Lequona.
That guy.
Yeah, Lequona's doing good on the Honda.
Yeah, I mean he's looking good. Yeah, Iker Lecuona, right? So
Is he
he's
from
number
Italy?
6, right?
I thought he was from Spain.
Oh no, you're right. I'm sorry. He's from Spain.
Oh no, you're good.
You are correct. Yeah. So he's sitting in 6th right now. Rinaldi's in 5th. Locatelli's in 4th. Toprak is in 3rd. Johnny Ray's in 2nd, and obviously Bautista is he's got 298 points, so he's well ahead of. He's more than 30 points ahead of Jonathan Ray right now. But my point is, I like Cameron in that kind of a grouping where you have like 4 or 5 guys rather than in this sort of multi-man knife fight that he's in Moto in Moto 2. So
yeah, I think Cam either way would be in good shape. He's a very talented rider, and I think he'd do well wherever he went. But is what it is. I think right now for him, the biggest thing is to just finish these races, get this time under your belt, try to keep a good momentum rolling. Even if you're not finishing where you want to finish, just try to finish the races, get more time in the bike. I think he's been throwing it down in the gravel, as some of the British guys would say, a few more times than he's wanted to. So it happens, but we'll see. Hopefully he can keep doing well.
For what it's worth, I mean the British guys, to a man, everyone I've heard commentate on Beaubier is very complimentary of his riding style and his talent and his speed. So I think they want him to because we have like a little bit of a kinship with American riders going over there and doing well. They're very complimentary of Beaubier for what it's worth, and I think it's worth a lot.
Yeah.
Do you have any hot takes from last weekend?
Ooh.
I got one for later, but I'm going to save that.
Yeah, I'm thinking. The biggest thing is just these guys need to stop fighting. Moto 2, they just need to stop fighting because by doing that, they're creating these gaps. I'll also talk about Vietti in Moto 2 having that big save. That I would say that's the save of the weekend. We'll get to that one, but
the
that's
elbow.
the save of the weekend in the long lap penalty loop.
Yes, you're right on the money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, he was on his left elbow, I think, and just lifted that bike up. He did a little bit of Marc Marquez business right there. Well, almost. Marc Marquez, the bike is like out of shape as he's doing that, and he still somehow saves it. He's a freak. He's going to be there this weekend, so I guess that's exciting. I'm sure MotoGP is very excited that he's going to be in the paddock this weekend. So
that'll be cool. I love Marquez. Hopefully he does well.
I love Marquez just looks like the type of dude that you would see like at the mall, and he's in the polo store, and he's kind of going like this. He's taking a look at this polo shirt. His brown hair looks pretty nice. And then when he puts on a motorcycle leathers, he turns into a different guy.
Yeah, totally.
You would not associate that guy shopping at the mall with the guy that you see in leathers, because he looks like an absolute killer when he puts his leathers on. He's sitting in that chair.
Definitely.
That's what I find is uncanny about him. It really is. So here we are. So we have the Red Bull Ring. Kayla, did you get your chance to ride this circuit when you were over there?
I did not. Okay. I will say though, I will say I'm not a fan of the new chicane.
Okay.
I think that it makes sense for what happened, but also you have to think that it was definitely a very I guess you could say freak accident, and probably most likely will never happen again. I think that what happened is just it happens sometimes in racing, and I mean obviously the guys got lucky, and I think it was more dangerous last year when they put that wall up because you can't see the exit of the corner at all. So that's another thing. I'm glad that they're at least trying to, make it safer, but I think they should have just left it the way it was. I'm not a big fan of some of these chicanes on the long tracks like that, especially if you have a track as popular as the Red Bull Ring. Hopefully they allow some of the classes and even some of the other series to not run that chicane, because that's a pretty iconic straightaway.
I hear you. And Keith Hewen said the same thing. He said, "It looks like I took my 8-year-old, he scribbled on the notepad, and I just made a chicane of it."
Yeah.
Something like that. So I got a kick out of that. He didn't like it either. So it doesn't surprise me that you were going to say that you don't like it. I'm gonna go back to Fabio on this one, and I'm gonna be a little bit fatalistic. So the positive, reinforcing, loving person that everybody knows me to be, I'm not gonna be right now. Is this the beginning of the end of this championship for Fabio, or is this the end of the beginning?
I think it's neither. I think that this is this is one of those.
Look at Kayla.
This is one of those instances where I think a lot of people are going to doubt him for the rest of the season, and a lot of people are going to say that he's going to have this downfall. But I honestly think he'll just come back stronger. I think that people have those weekends where it's not ideal, but also I just think it's not really a turning point. I wouldn't say that. And I wouldn't say that it's the end of the beginning, because I think it was just one of those races where it's like, okay, didn't have the best weekend, kind of made some mistakes in the race that I shouldn't have made, but we're going to come back and figure it out. So we'll see. Hopefully he can regroup and, do well. I'd like to see him win another world championship.
Me too. I love watching the guy. Hopefully, you know what? If what's his name is calling Rossi Benyaya, then maybe he should call Marquez.
Yeah.
Because Marquez is about as mentally strong a dude as I think the sport has.
Yep.
And that's saying a lot, actually. All right. Is this so as far as this for the GP this weekend, is this looking like, do you think this is an Aprilia weekend? Do you think this is a Ducati weekend? Who do you like?
Red Bull Ring's always been Ducati. Mm-hmm. I think Ducati will do very well there. It makes it a lot easier for the other guys in the paddock because, we have one straightaway that's a little bit shorter. So it might give the other guys another chance. But, yeah, I think it's going to be a good weekend. I'd say Ducati or Aprilia would be on top here. So we'll see.
Yeah,
I'd like to see, Yamaha up there, but I think that I think the Yamaha will be on the podium, but I just don't think that they'll be able to win if they have the same the same kit that they had for Silverstone.
I'm also, I don't want to sleep on the Portuguese rider Miguel Oliveira. Brad Binder, would potentially could be a monster at this track. It's KTM track. Gardner, I think he's eventually, if they get that bike dialed in, I think he's going to do
They're
some
closer
damage
and closer
out there.
Every weekend.
Yeah.
So
he's got
it'll be cool.
He definitely has the.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. And he has the talent if they get that bike dialed in. So I'm with you. I like those guys. And we'll see. But I mean, I think every track right now is going to be an Aprilia track. The way that they can seem to be able to tune that bike. And then they're going to have 2 more on the grid next year, which is going to be exciting. Okay, Moto 2. Who do you like in Moto 2 for this race?
I'm not sure. I think Vietti needs to come back. So he's going to definitely push a little bit harder this weekend. Fernandez is definitely going to try to
be a monster here.
Keep on this momentum. Pedro, I think, will be good here. Acosta, if he's able to go back with that, But he would be good at that track, I believe. I think, whatever it is, hopefully, I believe it was a femur. If he's able to get that thing healed, he'd do well there. But I hope Joe does well. He's been good at that track before, so we'll see if Roberts can get back up there. Same with Bobier. Bobier was very strong there last year. Ran some really good times. So Canet does really well there.
He's good at every track.
It's always the same guys up front, so
Yeah.
it's gonna always be a dogfight. So I'm excited to watch Moto2 there.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about Celestino Vietti. Obviously, he has the talent, but it seems like he can climb from the back to the middle. I've seen that. He has trouble getting to the front if he's not up front. If he starts to race up front, he's really tough to beat when he's out front. Whereas it looks to me like Augusto is a little more calculating, and he'll bide his time and set up. He's more patient about getting to the front. He'll set people up.
Yeah, I think that Vietti has, because he's never been in this position before to fight for a championship. So I think Vietti is definitely a little bit more frantic than he probably should be right now. So hopefully that can get a little bit fixed at this next round, where he's just patient throughout the race. And if he's leading, he's just sprinting. So we'll see. I love watching Moto2 because
so
it's always a good race. Yeah.
It's so exciting. They don't know how to not have a good race. They just don't. So in Moto3, I want to ask you this, Kayla. The way as competitive as this is right now, could Pedro happen this year? Like, could the Pedro of last year happen this year?
I don't think so. I think that it's just too competitive at the front. The pace is very fast at the moment, and everyone is really pushing. I think we'll see what happens. Here it's always been a drafting track. To have the smaller chicane might divide the groups a little bit, but still you have really long straightaways the entire way around. So it's going to be a big group again.
There's no way you could pick a winner, right? You would just be like taking a guess. There's no way.
I think that Onku does well here.
Yeah.
So as long as he stays out of trouble and stays to the front of that group, he should be all right. I'd like to see Tate to be up there. He's probably my favorite Moto3 rider. But yeah, we'll see.
With these cool names, how could he not be? Anshu he has no fear at all. He just has no fear of throwing his nose in anywhere, and I get so much respect for that. Let me go to my other page real quick. We're gonna go to Moto America Pittsburgh preview. Of course I'm on the wrong page. Here we are. So, Moto America Pittsburgh preview. I don't know why. Oh, so let me get you. It looked like I was going first. Like, I'm not going first. Kayla's here. All right, so let's start off with Superbike. This is, if somebody's surprised by anything that anyone's going to say, go ahead, Kayla, with regard to Moto America Superbike.
Yeah, the Superbike class this season has been really good. Closer racing and, battles at the front, a lot of drama that's been really, really fun to watch. Not as fun for the riders, but it's fun to watch. Petrucci, I believe, is leading the championship again. So we'll see how it is. And going to Pittsburgh, I know I saw Petrucci this weekend or last weekend at Pittsburgh practicing in the endurance with Josh Herron. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully those guys can battle it up. I think that Gagne will be very strong here. He was very strong here last year. So it's definitely going to be a battle, I think, between those two guys. Skoltz, if they can figure that bike out again to get that Westby bike where it needs to be, he'll be up front. Same with Peterson. So as for the rest of the guys, hopefully they can just keep working on the bikes. I think the BMW is definitely getting closer to where it needs to be. With PJ Jacobson and Hector Barbara, they're both doing really, really well to try to keep getting that bike further and further in the stages of development. But yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting race at Pittsburgh. Hopefully good battles for Superbike.
Okay, I'm going to shock everybody, Kayla, and go, wait, where am I going? I'm going to shock everybody and go, Jake 1, Danilo 2, Cam 3, Matthew 4.
Big shocker.
I
I've
know.
never heard that one before.
I've never heard that. I mean, yeah. If Jake's injured, I think and I don't know if he's injured, and I'm sure if he is, because his his manager was on the other day who provided some very interesting information about their preparation for World Superbike. In the hot takes, oh man, I've got some hot take I got from him that I want to get your reaction to. That's not going to make certain motorcycle owners happy, but yeah, I like Jake if he's healthy. I don't see where those guys are going to be able to get by him right now unless something goes wrong, like it did last week. But the guy is just he sets his pace, and they don't seem to be able to match up with it.
Yeah, those first few laps, he's just right there, right where he needs to be.
Yeah. So I think we're all in agreement on that. I would love to see Danilo do well. He's just such a cool guy. He loves this. He loves racing motorcycles so much. Like you said, he did an endurance race. He did the Dakar last year, and we started to talk about the Dakar, which I didn't know anything about. He said, yeah, I mean, you're basically going 110 miles an hour through the dirt, and you're looking at this GPS and trying to navigate. And I'm just like, oh my God, like that's a whole nother, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
You're probably you're familiar with it.
Different thing. Yeah. A different totally different thing. It's really cool though. I'd like to do something like that maybe when I'm done racing. But
Dakar representatives, when Kayla retires from MotoGP, she might want to come and do your race. Just to say she did it. So what else do I have for Moto for Super Sport? The thing
my son Rakito. My son Rakito gets out there.
Okay,
it's a running joke. It's the running joke that I'm his father apparently, and he is my son. So my boy Rakito. Yeah, it's a long one. It's a long story, but he's gonna go out there. I think he has the pace right now. He's got the momentum rolling.
Yeah,
they're getting the bike where it needs to be. So if he's able to have that bike under him, have that mindset that he had at Brainerd, he's going to go out there and hopefully destroy them again. But we'll see. Heron's going to be tough to beat. We'll see if, I believe Hayes is going out again to do Super Sport. I'm not 100% sure, but if he is, then he's going to be another tough one. So we'll see. Hopefully it's a good race.
Does that track lend itself to Ducati at all? Do you see anything at that track that would make Ducati more competitive there, or no?
It's a flowing track.
Okay.
I think that the flow is going to suit the R6 really well, but also suit some of the Ducati strengths. So we'll see. Hopefully it's a good race. I think the Super Sport this weekend is going to be fun to watch.
And so last time we spoke, your let's see, Rocco's sister was staying with you. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, so she's your buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Is she a racer as well, or you're just
she
friends?
Used to race, yeah.
Okay, now.
But now they just travel all together.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Wow, so you're like really close to her family. Yeah, I was kind of thinking that if Rocco is able to do what he did last week, I mean or 2 weeks ago, that could be a big problem, and guys are going to start to think that he's going to check out, that if he qualifies well, that if he qualifies on the front row again, they're going to think they're going to start to get in that mindset where people are with Jake, like he's going to check out.
Yeah, so. I mean, he's right there. And so as long as he keeps rolling out with that same mindset, he'll be up front. And if he's up front, he'll probably be gone by another 18 seconds.
My goodness, man. That looked like it could have been Jake Gagne, and we wouldn't have known. It just it was nuts. That was great. I hope to see that and hope to get to look at his riding a little more closely. But it just shows an enormous level of concentration to maintain a pace when people are behind you and being able to manage not going too fast so that you kill your tires or you lose the front end or something like that, but going fast enough that those guys have no hope. Because as you said, I think you said to us last time, you said these guys looked up, they saw Jake, and they said, I'm a second and a half back. I'm in it. But if you're 4 seconds ahead after 2 laps or 2.5 laps, they're like, well, I'm not even in it anymore.
Yeah, you can't do anything.
Yeah. So
But
that
should be a good race. We'll see.
See, I remember what you said last weekend, Kale. I'm such a good student, right? You should give me a gold star for today.
I said like the SpongeBob episode where I just give out gold stars. I'll do that.
There you go. There you go. All right, let's see, what else do I have? So that's so in the STG Junior Cup, there's a, let's see, it's number 31. I'm trying to remember her
She's
name.
kind of slow.
But I like
yeah.
I like number 31. Okay, but Kayla, I'm so biased. I couldn't be any more biased possibly. Who do you like that runs well at this track along with you in your class?
I think that this is going to be a good Cody Wyman track. Last year had a bit of an injury. I believe he dislocated or broke his hip, or something around that. And race 1 and rode with it in race 2. So he was definitely a trooper for that. But, last year he was right in that mix. So it's going to be definitely a Cody Wyman, Gus Rodeo track. Same with Joe Lemandry. So as long as we stay in that fight, we'll be good. We'll hope to finish in front of those guys. I really want to get out there and have a good weekend where I feel good all weekend. I want to do a Rocco Landers, honestly. I just want to get out front and ride my own race. But obviously with the Junior Cup, it's hard to do that. So we'll see.
You're limited in the horsepower and all that, so you can't really run away, where their bikes have more agency to make it perform. Am I correct?
Yeah, I think so. For Junior Cup, you have to have certain restrictions and things. But either way, people are able to find ways to get their bikes where they want to be, modify a few things. So hopefully, we have a good bike under us this weekend. We've been working really hard to try to get a good bike. So, at some of the rounds, we've been a little bit underpowered on the longer straightaways. So, at least at this track, we won't really need that. So we'll try to keep going.
Okay, so you won't need to gear it up for this track. You can gear down or stay where.
Yeah. This track is more just hills and not as many long straightaways. Okay.
And last year, you guys all have the same basic engine this year, correct? It's all Kawasaki, right?
This year is all Kawasaki, I believe. I think that everyone who's running it is on a Kawasaki. You can run KTM, R3, CBR 300, but everyone decided to go with the 400 this year.
Because last year, I remember, this is a layperson talking here. Last year when I was watching your series, I thought Ty Scott's bike was faster than everybody just because he was pulling away from people just when at a point where I know you guys are full out, and I know so. The
KTM had some definitely different strengths than the 400. Okay. The kit that they were able to get for that bike was definitely really beneficial for them. And, taking nothing away from Tyler, great rider and everything.
No, yeah. I'm not saying.
Sorry, my phone is falling. Sorry. But, yeah, the KTM was just able to pull up those hills at Pittsburgh. And you see in Ben Glotti's riding that he was just doing everything he could to just stay with them. And, in race 1, he was able to win last year. So it's possible. So hopefully we can get out there and have a good race, try to do something to where we can maybe pull a gap if we can. But if not, just put ourselves in a good spot for the last few laps and hopefully try to end up somewhere on the box, preferably on the top step. But, I'll take anything. I think that, like I said, I've passed all my expectations for this year. So we're just having fun.
My God, what an amazing! You should have one more win to your credit as far as we're all concerned. It's just unbelievable. And me showing my friends, I take photos of like the television screen and send it to my co-hosts on the UFO podcast and like Kayla #1, and they're all kind of know who you are now, and we'll say go Kayla, and these guys don't even know which is the left and right side of a motorcycle. But it's really exciting. Obviously, Nathan, got to speak with you, and I got to meet Nathan in New York City. I've met him once before in person, but
Mm,
we had a UFO meetup in New York City last Thursday, the day
okay.
before the swim. I had Korean food with Nathan and 3 other UFO people, 1 gal and 2 guys, and he was amazing. He's just so cool in person and so friendly, and just, man, it was great, man. I
Awesome.
What a week. I couldn't have asked for a better weekend. All right, so we only have a few things left. Hot takes. And for the best passes, actually, because this is one, I have my I have my best passes for you. I'm gonna throw at you, and then
All
after
right.
that we have hot takes and just a couple fan questions. So best passes, man, it was I think it was. Let me go back to my page again. Yeah, it was Canet's double pass on Roberts and Fernandez. Where,
Yeah, that one was pretty crazy.
woo!
I'd probably go with that one too. And I think consistently passes where it was like Mavericks in MotoGP with everyone in the same corner. It was really cool. But man, Kinet was definitely going for that one.
That was a beautiful pass and shut the door on Fernandez. It was beautiful.
Yep.
And for hot takes, so this one, so I gotta piggyback here, Kayla, off of Richard Stamboli, who's I guess the attack performance manager,
Yep.
if I'm not mistaken,
Crew chief, I think
or crew
too.
chief.
But
Okay,
yeah.
what a wealth of knowledge, man. That he was on with Carruthers and Bice, and
Mhm.
that was very, very informative as I was driving through New York City listening to that, of all places. And I'm like, wait a minute. Isn't like Warhorse SBK Ducati around here?
Yeah.
Where the hell is that? I should be over on the other side of Manhattan to go take a photo in front of that dealer, but I think it was on the
Yeah.
opposite side. Anyway, I mean, basically what he's saying is that these Indians and Harleys, he's not a fan. From the standpoint of now, I've owned an XR 1200, I've owned a Sportster, I've owned a
Mhm.
Buell, so that's 3 Harley products right there in
Yeah.
my past. So I'm not anti Harley, and right now I want an Indian FTR 1200, but I have to sell my Super Duke to make that happen. So he said they're spilling, they're overtuned. They're revving
Yep.
higher than they're supposed to be. They're a little bit over-engineered, or I guess
Mhm.
overtuned, under-engineered. And they're spilling oil on the racetrack, which is causing a problem for you guys. So
Yep.
that is the DJ's hot take. I need like a hot take sound.
I'll agree with that. I think that I love watching the bagger class. And I think it's really cool. What they've done with it is really cool. The bikes are definitely getting faster and better each year, but they're they're really just definitely, I would say, overtuned as well, and they're blowing up to where there's just oil all over the track. I mean, it happened at Road America in the rain,
Hmm.
and that caused a really big problem, even for me, with my high side and morning warm up. But then, at Brainerd, they caused a big delay,
Hmm.
and it kind of messed up everyone's schedule, and basically pushed my race back, stopped it in the middle of the race, pushed it back to the end of the day. So that was, yeah, not ideal. So hopefully they can fix some of the issues they're having with these baggers.
This is a very well kept secret, Kayla, because I'm telling you, you know it as a rider and an insider, but none of us, the fans, none of us have heard anything about this. So if we weren't at the track, even if we were at the track, we might not have known unless we just seen a Harley go down,
Yeah.
seen them throwing kitty litter out there in the blowers. But I mean, I didn't know this was happening, but that is a problem. And
Yeah.
and I mean, it's I hate to say this because it's going to sound like you don't care about Harley and all you care about is speed. And it's really not that. I love Harley. I just told you I've owned 3 of their products and love them still. But they've been out of racing for so long now. I mean, they haven't raced since like Nikki Hayden was in like Daytona, like way back then.
Mhm.
They had a 1200cc bike that they had in Daytona, but they
Mhm.
haven't raced in forever. And that's what
Yeah.
happens. Now we're taking a 45-degree V twin that's not meant, and what Richard said is it's not meant to run at those RPMs, and that's why they're, the
It's not even
tolerance.
meant to go that fast.
No,
They're riding these things like their super bikes. So it's cool to watch, but definitely, it can be a bit too much sometimes. But I like to watch. I like to watch the bagger races. I know a lot of the bagger guys, so it's definitely a fun race to watch for me.
I love them. They're phenomenal. And I don't know, is Indian also leaking as well, or is it just Harley
Yeah, I think Indian was leaking at Road
as well?
America.
Okay.
I think so, but I'm not
Uh,
100% sure.
Yeah. So either way, we don't have to classify one over the other. But the
Mhm.
bottom line is for those manufacturers, you need to go back to the drawing board and you need to engineer a motor for racing. And if it's a
Yep.
45-degree twin, V twin, great. If you have to change the stroke, whatever you need to do to make it pull the tolerances in for racing, you got to do that if you're going to be out there, because that is a problem if you're making it unsafe for the other riders.
There we go.
All right. Last thing we have for. Do you have any hot takes? Any other hot takes?
That's it.
Oh,
That's
so
it for me.
I'm gonna be
Yeah.
the only one. Okay, so these are from fan questions I got for you, Kayla. This one is from Justin Day, one of your fans. Do you think there needs to be a change in the age bracket currently used in Junior Cup? Meaning that 28 is too old, or do you think they should limit it to 15 to 20 something or whatever?
I think that the age should be lower for
Okay.
Junior Cup,
Okay.
so that riders can get into the class a little bit easier, and quicker. But with 28, I do think it's a little bit. I mean, I think it's fine. Honestly, it is what it is. Ooh, just caught my phone. I caught it.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right. Look at
but
see the athletic ability is not only on the track, but she can.
it's my spidey senses. That's
Yep.
annoying.
I love it.
But yes.
Okay.
I think that with the ages, it is what it is. I think it's cool. A lot of people were butthurt about it, but it is what it is. I like it. I think it brings a lot of people to the class, and you can have a lot of different riders. But yeah, I think for me, I'd like the age to be a little bit lower so that kids can come in from these feeder classes at a younger age and be in a class like that for a little bit longer, learn and get faster, quicker. But
Okay.
yeah, I think it would be nice if like Twins Cup, Super Sport, they follow very closely, but obviously for them, I'd like the age to go down as well.
Fair enough. I like it, man. You brought it. You almost backed off, but then you went with it. I like it.
Yeah.
Jeff, what does a typical race week look like in terms of logistics? What each member of your family does to contribute and make it happen, etc.
Yeah, so my dad will get everything ready. Me and him will get everything ready for the weekend, pack the RV, get all my gear, things like that, tools. Drive out to the racetrack, wherever it is, get unpacked on Wednesday, or move in on Thursday. Get everything unpacked, help the team out, get my bike ready for Friday. Friday practice, make changes, do whatever we need to do. Then we have our qualifying one. Make changes, do whatever we need to do a lot of tire changes, me running around finding papers and things for him, doing media things. Then Saturday, get our qualifying 2 in the morning, make our last changes for the races or try things in the morning, hopefully qualify well. Then go out and race, learn from what we did in race 1, try to make some changes for warm-up on Sunday morning, and then go into race 2 and hopefully end off the weekend well, and then pack the team up, head home, and recover, get some training in, and do it again.
Here's your question from your fan DJ. That's me, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
What's your fitness routine looking like? Are you working with a trainer, or what does your routine look like?
I've done a lot of it myself, but it's a little bit confidential. We don't talk about that.
Okay.
We don't talk about that training routine.
Oh,
No one gets to know.
Okay, that's top secret. We won't
Secret.
go there. We don't want to compromise any of your secrets. Can you explain the difference in U.S. versus other countries motorcycle development for young riders?
I think that the U.S. is getting better at getting these younger riders up into the higher classes. So hopefully, in the coming years, it gets better and better to where we have these feeder classes. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, it keeps getting better and better, and we can get the younger generations of American riders up into the GP paddocks.
I really hope so. Yeah. Whenever I think about, the weight of what you do, and as a woman, it's really, it's a lot. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot. I don't, it's one of the remarkable things about you is that you handle it with such grace. I think there's a song from Rush called Grace Under Pressure, and it's apropos in reference to you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. So last question of the show, also from Justin. And I've thought about this after reading his question. It says, Moto 3 next year, or question mark, if you could move to any class anywhere, which would you choose and why?
Ooh. If I had to move to any class besides the class I'm in right now, I wouldn't go to Moto 3 because it's a totally different chassis than what I'm on now. I could see myself going to another organization like World Supersport, like World Supersport 300. I could see myself, maybe if I had to move up for my class, going to Twins Cup in Moto America. So those are probably the two places that I could see myself going in the next year.
Okay, I'll tell you what the epiphany I had one day. I think I had this epiphany 2 weeks ago after watching the Moto 3 race. And I was like, man, where could I see Kayla after next year? So let's say, one more year. And I said, Moto 2.
Yeah, I mean, Moto 2 is definitely an option. Again, it's a different chassis, and depending on which route I'm taking or I want to take, it's all going to change. So we'll see what the opportunities look like in the coming future. So hopefully they keep coming and we can get good opportunities.
Oh, they're going to keep coming. All right. Of that, I'm certain. That was great. That's all we got today, man. That was
awesome.
That was awesome. Thank you. I know you need to eat and all that stuff. So let me tell the audience peace out, and then I'm going to speak to you for 1 second after we come off air. But thank you, everybody who will listen to this, did listen to this. It's fantastic to be able to do it. I thought we were a little smoother this time than last time, and I didn't embarrass Kayla with my intro as much as I did last time. So mission accomplished from that standpoint.
All good.
So for the host, Kayla Yakov, this is your co-host, DJ, saying peace out, one love. We'll see you down the road. And from my standpoint, we're always wondering what's up around the bend.